Hi, welcome to Joanna's DIY Life. On this channel, I do a little bit of everything. Today, I'm going to be recovering my chair. So let's get started. Okay, so I am going to be recovering this chair, okay? I have moved my room around. This used to be my sewing chair, and I did have this fabric on it, which matched my room, but I am doing my sewing part in Pioneer Woman fabric, and I wanted to redo this part, but I don't necessarily want it all Pioneer Woman, the whole room, you know. So since this room is basically a lot of mint and teal blues and things like that, I have a lot of this fabric, so I'm going to cover this chair, or recover this chair. And, you know, I could get a new chair, yeah, but this one is functional. It works. This is the one I put my little razor rollers on, and I love it. So we're going to just redo it. Make do with what you have, right? So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to redo this chair. And the way I am going to do it, okay, if you have a chair that does not have this line right here, then what you would do is you would measure around and make a cover, okay, to go down this chair, and then put elastic at the bottom. I have done that on smaller chairs, but this one has this crack, so to get it firm or stretched over good, I'm going to be tucking my crack. So anyways, that's what we're going to do there. And then I'm going to make an elastic cover for this. I did it for a chair over there, and I'll show you when we're all done with this chair. So I have my little ruler, and believe it or not, I have my pencil and my notepad, so I'm not going to forget this time. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to measure around the seat. So it'll be about 31 that way. So I'm going to write that down. So it's 31 inches wide, about 28 the other way. So that's what I'm going to cut it, 31 by 28. So I'm just going to unroll my fabric, and my one is down here on this mat. So I'm going to cut my length, which would be 28, because this is 45 wide yard material. So I'm just going to cut the length at 28. So I'm going to line my edge up with my mat here, and I'm going to cut it at 28. So here is 28. You can use scissors if you want to. I'm just going to be using my rotary cutter and make this easy. Now if you want to, I guess you could pull your fabric over and staple it on your chair, but I don't want mine to be there permanently. That's just me. So I change things too often. You can ask my family. So I'm going to take this end, and I can use the selvage because I'm probably not going to wash it, okay? So I'm going to go down and put this on this now and cut this way to make it go, you know, lengthways. So I need it 31. So I'm just going to do the same thing, line it up on my mat, and cut it at 31. Save that piece for Lord knows what, because when you're a crafter, you don't throw away nothing. Then I'm simply going to take this. It looks big, but it's not. Trust me. I'm going to take this, and if I have to cut it down, I can. But the way I put my elastic in, it'll be okay. Now I'm just going to, I am going to round out my corner, okay? You can measure it if you want to by using a saucer or, you know, anything you have. But I'm just going to round it out just a little bit, not much, just so I don't have a boxy corner, because it's kind of, you know, wide and short. So, yeah. So anyway, let me put that in. I have cut myself so many times by leaving that like that. All right, so now we have this like this, okay? Now, you can easily serge around the edges and try to tuck them in, but see, you're going to have more fabric here than you would, you know, and it's going to be bunchy. So I am going to use bias tape method again. Before I do this, I'm going over there and make sure that it's fitting right, okay? Okay, so it's going to fit great. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take this like this, and I'm going to do this bias tape thing. So I have extra wide double fold bias tape. It's just what I had in there. I don't really use bias tape anymore. I used to make little dresses that use them, but I don't use it anymore. But this is going to be perfect for me because I have a piece of elastic that I pulled out of another thing I was doing. So this is really, really wide. Okay, y'all? I'm going to undo one. That way I'll have a bigger slot when I fold it over. And I'm just going to sew this all the way around right on the line here, or on the edge, somewhere around in there, so I can fold it over, okay? Usually on the line where it creases. So I'm going to go sew this on, and I'll show you what it looks like and, you know, how to thread the elastic and whatnot like that. I just wanted to show you this real quick. Okay, one of these bias tapes, you can get these at any craft store. Walmart has them, or they did. Some Walmarts have them. I won't say all do. But there is 3 yards on this, and this is all I had extra. So you might want to just get 2 in case, or, you know, 1 did mine with my measurements, but I don't think that any chair butt is bigger than that, you know. So it just depends the thickness of it, though, because you have to go around the thickness. So that would, of course, make it bigger. So you do have to compensate for that. So with that being said, you may want to pick up 2 just in case. If you do this, that's up to you. But I did have this much left, and I am just going to, I sewed it over top. See? So I'm just going to snip it off. And now I'm going to go over there, and I am going to take this, and I'm going to fold this way, and I'm going to sew this right here. And what that's going to do, this is going to be my elastic casing, okay? You want to leave a piece open, but not necessarily this piece right here. But just leave a space open for you to thread your elastic through. So I'm going to go around there and fold it over and sew that edge. Now I've got it, you know, got it sewn all around, and I'm going to thread my elastic through here. I can use wider elastic, but I'm just using what's already here. Okay, so I am going to take this. This is a bodkin. It's by Clover. Okay, let me show you. I have the Clover, you know, ruler thing, and I loved it. And I'm always looking for stuff to help me out. This is Nancy Zimmerman. Okay, it's very flexible. But you just clip it in, and this goes a long ways. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, let me show you how to do this. Now, I'm going to use this whole thing of elastic because I'm telling you, I've been known to pull things too tight, and then I cannot stretch it over the chair. But what you want to do is lift up, and that will give this, you know, release, and then it has teeth in it, and then you push that back down. The baby ain't going nowhere. And then you just find your opening, and you start threading. Okay? Like I said, you see this? This is fast. You can go a long way with this thing, and it holds exceptionally well. It does not let go. I absolutely love it. I have a smaller bodkin for smaller stuff because you can't get this fat head through small things, you know. But if you have elastic this big, especially in if you sew skirts, or for you or your kiddos or anything like that, this is awesome. Just saying. But anyway, you just want to go all the way to the end, and then make sure if you do have your elastic coming up short, make sure it doesn't come back through the hole, because then, you know, you'll be rethreading all over again, and that's never any fun. So Make sure that you don't lose your end in. And if it's short, you can take a safety pin and pin it. And that way you know it's not going to go through there. But I'm going to finish threading this elastic through. Okay, now back at the end, you just take your little bodkin case, and I'm going to leave it attached because I'm going to start adjusting my elastic a little bit, okay? And I'll pull it tight over there and pull it off and on and make sure. So I'm just going to leave these out right here, okay? Then I'm going to go over here to my chair. But what I'm going to do is I am going to put this around my chair, and I'm going to tighten this, okay, to where I like it, and then I'm going to sew it. But that's all you got to do to get this on. Okay, I am going to show you what I'm doing because I want you to know exactly what I am doing. Because what's the point of me showing you if I don't show you everything? I just didn't want my big body in all this thing, okay? But I put it on, all right, and my elastic's over here. So what I'm doing is I am just pulling it around until I get it tight. But I don't want it so tight that I can't get it off. So I'm just pulling my elastics, okay? And then I'm making sure, because if you get it too tight, you won't be able to get it off your chair. So I'm making sure that I can firmly get it off my chair, which I can, so I know I need to cut it right here. So I have it right here, and you know, it doesn't even matter if it rolls because it's just going on a chair. Normally, I would totally freak out if this was not perfect, but it's just going on my chair, and as tight as I got it, it's going to roll. So, you know, so I'm just going to clip these elastics off. By the way, these trimmers are awesome. I also have this set linked in my Amazon store, and they are sharp enough to cut through, you know, anything. Now I'm just going to take these right here, and I am going to put a pin down the middle. All right? And I'm going to put it this way in my machine, and I'm going to zigzag back and forth to close my elastic. Now you'll have to pull it out. Ignore that. That's where I hooked them together the first time. But when you first set your needle in, pull your pin out so you don't hit it with your machine needle. And I just zigzagged over. The reason I zigzag is because it's a stretchy stitch. Now you just pull it till it goes in there. And you could sew this shut if you want to. I don't, because if I ever want to redo them, that's where I know I can take my elastic out and use my fabric. Now I'm just going to go pop this over on my chair after I spread my elastic out, you know, as even as you can, and pop it down on your chair, and then I'll show you how to do the top, okay? So I'm going to measure from this crack down to the crack under here, okay? So this is about 25.5 inches. So I'm going to add an 1.5 inches, which would make it 27.5. I'm going to cut it 28. 28 long. Okay. And then this top needs to be 15 at the top. And then it goes down to the widest part here will be 19.5, so I'm going to say 20, okay? So I'm going to have to cut longer than that, or, you know, a little bit bigger than that. So it'd be 15 by 20. So I will add an inch, no, 2 inches to each one. So it'll be 17 by 22 is what I need to cut that. Now, this one will be different because it's padded, okay? So you're going to go from your crack here to your crack down here, and I promise this is going to be a different size crack. I know I keep saying crack, but I don't know what else to call this thing. So that is 28.5. So I'm going to make this one.
It's 28.5.
Oh, my watch is spying on me, y'all. Gotta love technology. And then this one will be 20. So that will be 22 top. And this widest part here is 23, so it'll be 25. So it's going to be like an odd shape, you know, getting bigger, and that's okay. So I'm going to go cut my pieces, and then I'll show you how I do this. Okay, I'm going to show y'all something of how I do this. The first one will be the back, okay? It was 28 long. You have enough to pull under and tuck in. I am going to take this and pull this around, okay, to where I need it on this side right here, okay? And then I'm going to pull it around to where I need it on this side. And this took about, I got 3 yards, but I had a little bit left over. So I'm just going to measure or mark this where I need to go, because it's so crazy trying to figure out where your widest part is. So it's easier just to put this fabric on this chair, and I'm going to put pins in it. If I'm in this, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to put pins where I need to hold it, okay? My thinking isn't like most people's, so I have to do things a weird, certain kind of way, and this is my weird, certain kind of way, I reckon. But this is how I'm going to do it, nonetheless. So I'm going to pin this so that it's tight, because, you know, that's where you want it. And your pins just miraculously go right through your chair, which is awesome. Alright, now, this is my widest part right here, okay? I feel so stupid being in this camera. Ugh, I'm so sorry. It's the only way I know how to do this and do this right. Okay? Just my weird thinking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to take a pencil. Okay? And you don't want all this excess fabric is what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to feel my crack, and I'm going to go out some all the way down this and just make a marking, because my chair goes, see, like this. So it's weird. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to go along this thing, and I'm going to mark everywhere I need to cut. So now I have this weird looking piece, but that's going to fit, and I'm going to do the same to the front. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to line this up, and you can use whatever you have. The last time I didn't have all this fancy stuff, so I used a case knife, or if you're younger, a butter knife, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to use this spatula. You can use your Cricut spatula, but this is the one I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to take and start stuffing this in. Now you want to hold this down. I don't know if you saw what just happened, but when I pushed it in, it pulled this up from here. So you want to hold it down so that you're pushing this in, not this. Okay? So push that in and get it started. Make sure you're where you need to be on your chair. Okay? I always do one side first, and I just poke down a little bit. Now we'll go to the other side and poke these sides down. If you need to cut this down further, you can before you poke it all in. Like I said, this ain't a precise, exact measurement thing. It's not that important. You do want to make sure that when you're tucking and pushing that you're pulling this tight, but not pulling it out of the other side. So all I'm going to do is take my tool and I'm going to poke all in this crack of this chair and get this back on. Then I'm going to cut my front out the same way as I did the back and poke it in and then put the bottom of my chair on, and I'll show you the finished product. I figured you might want to see how easy this goes in once you start tucking. Just push down. Where it goes, I have no idea, but it's not in my way, so I don't care. But anyway, you're just tucking. That's all you're doing, and it's easy and it goes pretty fast. So yeah, so that's how you do it. Now you may want to pull. There's a little pucker there. Just pull and it'll pull the puckers out, and then you go all the way around till you're done. This is the finished chair and what it looks like, and it tucked in nicely. So I am happy with it. And that right there is how you redo a chair. Here is the chair that I covered in Pioneer Woman fabric. And it is the same with the elastic, so it can be taken off to be washed. So that's it. This is so pretty. I love it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Remember, you are a blessing. Until next time, goodbye.